Oh, hello everyone. How are you doing? Hello. If a live chat started like this and I was a viewer, I would leave right away and never come back. Hope everyone is doing fine. Am I live? I think I am live. Come on, everyone tell me how you're doing. Yeah. Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Um yeah, it's morning over here in America. I think it's night over there in India, and something in between somewhere in Europe. But let's not even go into it. Uh, Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you so much. I would right away start with the questions, but before that, everything is going well. Good. I'm using a new software this time again. That one time, I don't know, some might remember one time I tried something and then everything crashed, but this time I think everything works very well. Good morning. It's a Thursday. There's a lot of work to do. I'm gonna prepare a new video for tomorrow as soon as I can. I'm also going to do something in German for all the German viewers. Thank you so much for all the support there, by the way. Um, yeah, this is different. I never did a live chat in the morning. That's why I'm so confused right now. Thanks, Ghost Rider. Thank you, Govind Gupta. Why are Muslims so backwards? That's a very big question. Okay, I want to say two things before we start with the questions. One thing is that some people ask me what happened on last weekend because I made a quite a dramatic tweet on Saturday about that Friday was a horrible day for me. It was just that I had incredible tooth pain and I passed out and had to be brought to the hospital. I had kind of a near death experience, which traumatized me for over the weekend, but I feel much better now. Thanks so much for everyone who asked me. The other thing is that I'm preparing a few things now, including one thing that so many people asked me about, which is merchandise. I'm preparing this like mugs and hoodies and shirts and stuff like that right now. As soon as I have more updates about that, I will share that with you. I think the shop is ready. I might as well share that at the end of this video here in the description and in the comment section, just so you know. And I will start wearing that too, so that I can promote that stuff here. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll just go ahead and start with the questions from the very beginning. Sean Hedger, Muslims don't use only a hose for their ass rather than toilet paper. That's just different from region to region. But some people do this weird thing that they. This is disgusting. Why are we talking about this in the morning? That they just use their hand and water because that's the sunnah, because the prophet did it that way too. That's a disgusting thing to talk about. Please let's wait with such things right now. Is Europe heading towards a civil war? Asked by that boy. Thank you, that boy. I don't think it's heading towards a civil war. I think the future will be pretty complicated about politics, about multiculturalism and stuff like that. But I hope everything will go well. Because in the end, we are all humans, you know. We are all humans. We just want to live in peace. All religions are the same. Just kidding. Don't take that seriously. I'm not one of those people. Thank you so much, Timothy Singleton. Thank you so much. Ich liebe euch auch. Yer Bashkansky asked, how much does Israel pay you? Well, they don't pay me much for a live chat, but per video that I release, they pay me $35,000. I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much. Super user, I believe viewers are Indian. That's a misconception. I don't know where that comes from. Most of my viewers are, well, 25% of my viewers are Americans, then 15% Indians, then 12% UK and Canada and Germany and so on, and Australia, let's not forget. I share these top 10 viewer countries occasionally. I can do that again today. It's quite interesting. I love looking at that. Thank you all so much, by the way, for your great support, for your attendance, for your questions and everything. I'm trying to keep up with the huge growth that I'm experiencing on YouTube. I never expected it to be this fast and big. Thanks so much, guys, for all the comments, for all the great comments. Thank you so much, Maymoon. Sarkar Ashek Mahmoud said, when do we get a German video? The German video will be out very soon. I'm currently preparing something. I think it should be out on either tomorrow, but I don't think so. It could be Monday or at the beginnings or the middle of the next week. I'll definitely announce that very bigly. Boutros Nen said, hey, your vid from last night spoke about Nur as light, but if you read the Sahih International, the Nur used for the moon verse and the one describing Allah have different endings to the Nur. I know, Boutros, but the thing is, the word Nur in that text, in that verse about Allah, is just the root word Nur, which stands for light. The one used for the moon is Nura, which is because the moon in that sentence is an object, because Allah created the moon. That's the single reason why it's different. There is nothing to it, really. But thanks so much for the question. It's a nice thing to investigate. Salvage Magician said, I have a question. How do you choose which questions to answer? I usually try to answer all the questions that I see here. It gets very difficult when the viewer count gets more, which is getting gradually more right now. But if there are too many questions, then I just try to answer the best questions, the ones that I haven't answered before, and the ones that don't ask things like what is the color of your socks? Which I received only once so far, to be fair. Libertas et Veritas said, AP, when will you become a Christian? Overdue. I think I will never become a Christian. I have very much respect for Christians, and I say that again and again and again, although it makes me unpopular among those people who left Islam or left other religions and who are against all religions now. I respect Christians. I actually like Christianity as a religion. But there is no reason why I would become a Christian, because I can't believe in that. It's a different thing to like something and to believe in it. I kind of like it to some extent, but I couldn't believe in it. But thank you for the question. Dave the CS, do you believe in the Bible? I just answered that. But thanks for the question. Weizo X said, aren't you going to make other videos then about Islam? I don't think so. This channel is mostly focused on Islam. I might make occasionally videos about some other issues in the future, like about social issues, especially those concerning America and otherwise Europe and social politics in that way. But if you mean other religions, I will probably not do that ever, except comparing other religions with Islam. I'm actually planning on doing something like comparing Christianity and Islam, comparing Judaism and Islam, Hinduism and Islam, and stuff like that. Thanks for the question. Adam Farrell, hey Apostate, you remember me? I remember seeing your name, I believe. I'm not sure. But thanks for being here. Maimun Abdullahi said, I have a question, please answer. I'm a Muslim. I've been doing research on gender segregation. I don't understand where on earth did strict gender segregation in Muslim societies come from. Well, thanks for the question. Great question, by the way. As far as we can see from reports about pre-Islamic Arabia, there has been a lot of gender segregation in Arabia already. It was also there to some extent in the Jewish culture, especially the local Jewish culture and the local Christians. But Islam took it to such an extreme extent. I don't know how it happened. It has most likely to do with Muhammad, with the message he had. Muhammad was a big weirdo. If you saw him today, you would probably think, "Oh, who is that?" I'm not going to speak to that guy. Yeah, he was such a guy. He was quite smart too. Quite smart for his standards in his region. But yeah, it has mostly to do with Muhammad's message, I believe. I think gender segregation wasn't that huge in pre-Islamic Arabia. If you consider that his first wife, Khadija, was actually a huge businesswoman. But interesting question, thank you. It's a mystery to me too. The problem is that we can't really know much about pre-Islamic Arabia because there are not many sources, because pre-Islamic Arabia was very, very primitive and didn't have any text and paper and anything at all. So most of what we learn about pre-Islamic Arabia we learn from Muslims, unfortunately. Sarab Jane said, what will you be putting on shirts? Well, I created one design already, which is the Apostate Prophet logo in the front. Some people insistingly asked me to do that, although it's a bit weird to have on the shirt. But anyway, but that's what I'm doing. And on the back it should say Apostate Prophet. In the front it just says it just shows the logo. That's it. Thank you for the question. Kuljit Singh said, what will you do if certain group of moderate Muslims will target you regarding the name of this channel? They can do whatever they want. Thank you for the question. Come on. Thank you, Linda Clark, for the super chat. I have a new option here that super chats show on the screen now if you send that. I think it didn't work with yours, but I just fixed it. So if you want to send super chats, you can do that and your question will probably appear here on the screen. I never tried that before. This is the first time. So I don't know what it looks like either. Make Islam a nation, not a religion. Interesting point, Linda. But thank you so much for the super chat. Whoa, okay. It's just getting hard to follow here. Thanks so much for the participation, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know there are lots of questions, Abhishek Mishra, but it's really hard for me to follow. I wish I had someone who helped me here with the live chat and sent me the questions so that I could answer them, but unfortunately, I'm still a poor guy who operates completely by himself. Paul Thorade said, why is Saudi Arabia our ally when their human rights records is atrocious? I'm an American Christian. Thanks for the question, Paul. I wonder about the same thing very often, but it's actually not a great mystery because, America is a superpower in the world, and Saudi Arabia is the big power which has authority which other countries listen to in the region. And Saudi Arabia has also rich resources that people need, especially that Americans need. So, unfortunately, America and the West allied in some way with Saudi Arabia because allying with Saudi Arabia would calm down the situation in the Middle East a bit, and that's why we are going on. Although Saudi Arabia is in many ways worse than Iran, which we consider an enemy, ironically, it's a bit shameful, and I always bring that up. I will never be in comfort with the idea that Saudi Arabia is somehow our ally. So I don't know. I think it's necessary in some way, but I'm only as much informed and opinioned about that as you are, probably. But thanks for the question. Diana Phillips said, "What do Muslims pray during their 5 praying times?" It's very repetitive, actually. There are just the regular things that you say during every prayer of the day. You recite a few parts of the Quran. You end the prayer with a prayer, and that's it. It's a weird, mindless ritual that you're supposed to do every day. There is really nothing special to it. It's probably it's good for moving your body, like gymnastics. I don't know. Do you have any advice for ex-Muslims from Saudi Arabia? Asked by Games Geek. Thanks for the question. Get out of there, I would say. I mean, there have been people who voiced their opinions in Saudi Arabia before. We have lots of them, but most of them ended up in jail or in prison directly. I would say get out of there until or do something if you believe you can do something discreetly and gather more and more people so that no one can shut you down. Do that. But if I was there, to be very honest, I would just get out of that country. But that's if you don't have a feeling of patriotism and nationalism, if you are a jerk like me. George B said, "Big fan here. What are your views on the U.S. Constitution?" Thank you so much, George. I would say the Constitution is perfectly fine to be followed in our time, especially with the First Amendment. It's just amazing. Other people don't have the same thing. In some regards, the text of the Constitution looks a bit outdated if you really go into it and read it. There was even, I don't know which comedian it was recently, who was like, if I don't know who that was, if anyone from the beginnings, from the founders came into today's time and looked at the Constitution, they would probably think, "What are you doing? Why didn't you add more text to this?" I agree to some extent with that, but other than that, I think the Constitution is perfectly fine. I just saw that this super chat function here works, but why was it so short? Anyway, I can deal with that right now. Excuse me. But thanks for the question, George. Bjoy Biswas said, "Are you an anti-theist?" I am not. I'm simply an atheist just because I don't believe in any religions, but I'm not an anti-theist. The only religion that I'm heavily against is Islam. Other than that, I don't have big problems with other religions. Let's come to the super chat very quickly. Who was that? I don't even see that here. What's going on? Oh, yeah. DC, quick question. When ISIS was on the rise in 2014, 2015, do you think many Muslims either supported them in secret or at least believed they were part of end times prophecy? Please do a video on ISIS. Good question, DC. Thank you so much for the live chat. Thank you so much for the question. I remember those times, 2014, 2015. That was turbulent times for me. I was fighting with my religion. I left my religion, but I still saw what's going on in the Muslim world around me. So I wouldn't say that people were kind of hoping for them to take over everything and were supporting them. But we have seen from statistics, and I have also seen in real life, that there was indeed a percentage among the Muslim population globally, especially in some countries, less in other countries, that in some ways supported the idea of ISIS and other organizations. But I have to be very fair in saying this, that the vast majority of Muslims got used to terrorist organizations in the past and didn't really like the idea of ISIS either, and they saw them mostly as terrorists who should go away. So I wouldn't accuse most Muslims of doing that. I believe most Muslims fairly stayed away from ISIS. But thank you so much. But many fundamentalist Muslims, especially those ready to be radical, of course saw some hope in that and even traveled from countries like America to Syria just to support ISIS, which is disgraceful. Miles Yoshimoto said, "You need to assign friends as moderators." Yeah, my wife is a moderator here somewhere. I don't know if she's active right now because she's working. But thank you so much for the super chat and for the comment. And surprise, surprise. If you check your status right now, you will see something, Miles. Thank you so much. Make a collab with Vidu. That will be epic. And commented by Sanskrit Runes. Thank you, Sanskrit Runes. I know that's not your name, but anyway. I will do something together with him actually quite soon. We didn't. Well, when I say quite soon, I just mean that we have a plan. We didn't actually make set a date for that yet, but we are trying to come up with something high quality, funny, because Vito is very funny, and I have lots of ideas that I could combine with his ideas. So I'm trying to do something in near future. Hopefully it will be out there. Otherwise, I'll also have Vito here with me on my channel sometime, because I think he's a very, very nice guy. Beside his criticism of Islam, he's a very nice person, and I totally support him. If you want to check out his channel, Vidovits, he has a great channel and very funny. He makes very funny impressions of Zakir Naik, and his wife Mimsivits is also doing videos now and made also a video about why she left Islam. I would totally support them and totally suggest checking their channels out and following them. But thanks so much for the comment. Why do I think Islam is a terrible religion when it teaches nothing but peace? Asked by Karthik Vasudevan. I think you don't really mean that question. It doesn't teach peace at all. That's also why it's different from some other major religions that we have. It doesn't teach peace at all. It's complete nonsense. It teaches justice. It calls it justice, which is not really justice. It teaches cruelty. It teaches spreading the religion by the sword. It teaches punishing people literally with a literarist attitude, a legalist attitude. There is no forgive them or the one without sin cast the first stone, or forgiveness attitudes like that have no place in Islam. Islam is completely legalist and executes people based on what they did immediately. So it's not a religion of peace at all. It's violent, it's cruel, it's aggressive. Pi Erickson said, "Are you a rational atheist? What I mean, if there is a God, would you then worship it?" Thank you for the question. If there was a God, and I believe there was a God, I saw that there was a God, I don't know, worshipping that God would still be a different question. But yeah, I think about these things all the time. I'm not one of those people who think, oh, all religions are bullshit. They are all the same. Let's criticize all of them. Let's destroy them all. We need to go into the future, guys. I'm not one of those people. But thank you for the question. Salvage Magician, you need an assistant, Apostate Prophet. I agree totally. I need an assistant. Joseph De Mayo, I bet Acts 17 Apologetics is praying for you. I have some conversations with him sometimes. He's a very funny, very nice guy. David Wood, yeah. I hope he's praying for me. I hope so. Shades of Green, Apostate Prophet, please explain. I don't know what to explain. Please put your question in the same comment. But thank you so much. Martin Cover said, peace be upon you, Apostate Prophet. Thank you so much. I'm not that guy, but yeah, I'm still a prophet. You can still say peace be upon me. I won't be like Muhammad, and I won't come out and be like, oh, you have to send greetings and peace upon me whenever you hear my name. And I condemn those who don't say peace be upon you when they hear your name. By the way, if you missed that, that's really what Muhammad said. That's whatever Muhammad was. NC Rock said, what do you think about Petra being the real Mecca claim? I saw that going around many times, and many people ask me about that. But to be very honest, I don't really believe in that theory. I don't think that Mecca was actually Petra. I don't think that actually happened, because we have majorly proof that that's not the case. But thanks for the question. What do I think about Ayan Hirsi Ali? It just came in a super chat. Why is the super chat so short? I don't get it. I have to work on that and make that appear longer here. What do I think about Ayan Hirsi Ali? Make a video. Left Islam at 7. Asked by Marianne Isse. I think she's very brave. She's a very great person that we really need in our criticism of Islam. I really admire her. I also tried to have a conversation with her, but she's very busy. She just had a baby, I believe, and stuff like that. She's very busy in her own life. So, but as soon as I have the option of having a chat with her, I would love doing that. She's very brave, very amazing. For those who don't know, she fled from. She wasn't in Somalia at last. I don't know. But she left from the Islamic world. She underwent female genital mutilation in her childhood, was forcibly almost married to some guy, fled her Islamic country to the Netherlands, studied in the Netherlands, went into politics, was member of a party, worked together with a guy called Theo van Gogh, who was a producer, a movie producer, and together they made a video called come on, what was that? Submission, I believe. A film about Islam called Submission, which became very controversial, and someone killed Theo van Gogh for that movie. And Ayaan Hirsi Ali, although she was they made that movie together, still kept on criticizing Islam, but increased her security measurements and still lives in fear, but here in America by now. She's a very brave person. I would totally support and endorse her all the time. Do you believe Muhammad was a psychopathic as Arda Turan? Why do we come into football players now? Most people don't even know Arda Turan here on this side of the world. Asim Yusuf, but thanks for the question. Yeah, I believe he had major issues, but I'm not even sure about that. I'm not even sure why he did those things. There's always this question. I was asked that same question on David Wood's live chat. What I think about Muhammad. Did he really believe in those things that he preached, or was he just mentally sick or something? Or was he just deceiving people? It's still a mystery to me. I still don't know the answer to that. But I could speculate together with you about those things, and I even plan a video called "Was Muhammad Mentally Sick" or something. Vinod C, thank you so much for the super chat. You didn't attach a question to that, but thank you so much. Okay, the questions are getting so many, it's hard for me to follow. If your question is at the very bottom because you just asked the question, I will probably see that a bit later because I'm trying to go chronologically and answer all questions, but most questions will be unanswered. I'm very, very sorry for that. What do I think about Christian Prince? Asked by Shakespeare. Nice name for insiders. But I think he's doing great work. I think he should change the way he's doing his work. I think he should make more short, concise videos so that more and more people can watch his videos and get the message out of his videos very quickly. He does usually live chats for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Many people can't follow that. But other than that, he has a lot of knowledge. He's a native Arab speaker. He has a lot of knowledge about Islam. He has very precise criticism on Islam. I haven't communicated with him at all so far, but yeah, I think he does great work. Wong Lee said, what do Turkish citizens think about you? I'll come to your question right away. Miles Yoshimoto said, have you been following the activity in areas like Sweden? What do you think about those? And do you think those Islamic groups will assimilate in their new countries? To summarize the question again, sorry, I read it interruptedly. Miles Yoshimoto asks what I think about Sweden, Norway, and Scandinavia and the activities that happen there, and if I think that Islamic groups can assimilate in those countries. Thanks for the super chat, Miles, again. It's a tough issue. I mean, in the Scandinavian countries, especially in Sweden and kind of in Denmark, not in Norway as much, we have these open borders where people just can come in and live there completely without really trying to integrate. But it's becoming a problem in Sweden, although many people in Sweden try to ignore that problem. I hope people will integrate. I hope Swedish people will do enough for them to integrate. The problem is that the authorities in Sweden and in Denmark to some extent, but especially in Sweden, don't do enough for those people to integrate into the country. As long as Swedish people and the Swedish government treat Islam and Muslims like something that has no difference from Europe and Europeans at all, things won't improve. You know, we are inviting a distant culture into the country, and if we invite a distant culture and so many adherents of that distant culture into our country, then we should also work on integrating those people into the country. That's nothing bad. That's nothing racist. Nothing bad at all. That's something that needs to be done. If Saudi Arabia decided to import 5 million Germans into their country, which they won't do, then they would also take all kinds of measurements and would in the best ways try to make those people adapt to that new country, and would also inform the Saudi Arabian people about those new arrivals. Unfortunately, when Europeans think about stuff like that, they think that's somehow racism or xenophobia. So yeah, everything could go very, very well. Everything could be solved if European people woke up and decided to actually do something about that. Sadly, it's not going very well right now. But thanks for the question. Super user said, "Is your wife an atheist too? Just curious." Yes, she is. Thank you so much for the question. Will you do a video about the connection OIC, Erdogan, and Muslim Brotherhood? Asked by Judy Deutsch. I might make videos about that at some time. I just don't want to focus on such political issues right now. I'm trying to focus more on all the things that we need to solve about Islam. But yeah, I could make a video about that. A super chat again by Pinhead Luke. Thank you so much for the super chat, Pinhead Luke. Was the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt a force for democracy or a force for theocracy? Well, if you know the history of the Muslim Brotherhood, it's very hard to believe that they were a force of democracy. The Muslim Brotherhood was always there to encourage Islamist values, not to encourage democracy and progressive values. Unfortunately, many people who associate themselves with the Muslim Brotherhood paint themselves as fighters for democracy and freedom and this and that and equality, but that's not the case. The Muslim Brotherhood has a history of extreme Islamism and offshoots of terrorist organizations. The Muslim Brotherhood doesn't stand for peace. The Muslim Brotherhood is an organization that wants to get rid of secular, of democratic values. And as we have seen in Egypt, when they took power, they even tried to impose very horrible laws, very horrible Islamist laws about women, about minorities, about child marriage, about children. So no, the Muslim Brotherhood is a disgraceful organization, and they should be stopped wherever they are. The Egyptian army went a bit too far in stopping them, but you know. Lawrence Cross said, "Are you Turkish or Armenian?" I'm Turkish, mostly. I should actually make a video about my ancestry soon. I could make that on Monday, this coming Monday. Yeah. Some people accuse me of being a Jew, because that's a bad thing, you know. But I made a test on my heritage, and it revealed that I have some Jewish heritage, apparently, some Sephardic Jewish heritage. So those people are apparently right. I should really take the opportunity to publish that, to give those offended people a bit more material to attack me. What do I think about the Israel-Palestinian conflict? Asked by Mindway. Thanks for the question. I'll make a video about that. I'm postponing that video so much. So many people ask me about that, but I will definitely make that video. It's a very complicated issue. I don't really want to go into that right now because it would take hours to get out of that. Okay, there are so many questions, so many comments, such a huge participation. Thank you, guys. It's very hard for me to actually follow the questions, but I'll try to be as quick as possible. PAN, you could be part Cherokee. Yes, I am part Cherokee too. For those who haven't been following American news, it's been hilarious in the last days. Will you have a thoughts on Imam Tawhidi, asked by Hanza Raju Mulaya? Thank you so much for the question. I think he's doing a great job in many ways, a more futile job in other ways, but I'll talk to him very soon. I had a contact with him, and we agreed to have a live chat together sometime. It will probably within the next few months. I will definitely announce that very greatly because he's a very important guy. I like him very much, and he will likely be here on my channel with Imam Tawhidi. But thanks for the question. There was someone that I noticed from my times where I wasn't still a big YouTuber. Geek TV channel is a Turkish channel. Geek TV is a Turkish atheist channel, also an apostate that criticizes Islam. Thanks for being here, by the way. Hoş geldin. I saw you before when I wasn't this big on YouTube. You asked me if I will do Turkish streams or Turkish videos. The thing is, I want to be very honest here. I don't really like very much communicating in Turkish. Although it's kind of my mother language, my second mother language, but I still didn't get used to communicating all these things in Turkish, and I have a very weird, more Western humor that Turks are usually very shocked about when I make a joke. So I don't really know how I would do that, but maybe in the future. Currently, I'm trying to focus on the international English stuff and also the German channel. Thanks for the question, and thank you so much for being here. Okay. What currency is DKK? Is that Denmark krones? Lauren Malvo. I am a hiding non-Muslim and I have to marry soon. She is Muslim and I want to make her an atheist too. What would you recommend me to start with? Is that is that really happening? That's tough. Well, thanks for the super chat again. That's a tough situation. I mean, well, I would say talk to her. I mean, okay, let's be very cold about this. I mean, there are so many people in this world. You are not just dependent on this one person. But if you want to really change her, I mean, try it. If you really want to change her, I would say the best way is to introduce some skeptic ideas. That's always the best way, like to introduce some questions that lead to really disturbing one's mind about Islam. Because the best way you can bring someone to be a skeptic about Islam is to ask them specific critical questions about Islam. Or you don't even have to confront them. You don't even have to appear as an opponent, but just to share your thoughts on some things regarding Islam, some illogical things, some atrocious things. But I think that would be the best way to approach this situation. But if there is no change happening in their beliefs or in your beliefs, if it doesn't matter, then why are you even worrying about it? If it does matter, if there is a barrier because of your difference of beliefs, then that's a problem. But then that just shows that the relationship wouldn't work very well anyway, and you could probably go on with your life. That's the best I can tell you. But thank you so much for the super chat, and I hope you solve the problem. I hope you have a great life. I don't want to go into questions about bombing certain religious groups. But thanks for the question, Neil Gardner. Turks and Mongols are Altaic. Is that correct? It appears correct, Sanskrit runes. It's a complicated thing that many people wouldn't probably understand what we are talking about, so I won't go into that, but thanks for the question. Yeshwan Naik said, will there be Germanistan in Europe? I don't believe there will. The thing is, right now, when Islamism and the presence of Islam is currently on the rise in European countries such as Germany, and Germans are sadly a nation that have a very big problem with talking about different cultures and different groups because of their past, because they are always sorry about the Second World War after 60 years. But once the Muslim population rises and starts creating their own political parties, big ones, if that's even going to happen, I don't think the general population will want to deal with that. The same way the general population opposes far right ideas as they consider them, they will also oppose far Muslim ideas. So no, I don't think it's realistic to think that a European country will become an Islamic country in the future, unless it happens with measures that we all don't want to think about. Bones 88. Why do Muslims believe it was Allah speaking through Gabriel and not Satan or any other thing? I don't believe it was anyone speaking through Gabriel to Muhammad. I don't think anyone spoke to Muhammad. I think Muhammad just had his imagination or mental issues, or he just found joy in reading the scriptures of the Abrahamic religions and doing something like that in a very, very wrong way. But thanks for the question. Erwin Nijland said, why are American Turkish people more relaxed than those within the EU? Well, I would say most immigrants in America are far more relaxed than they are in Europe, which is probably because, Europe is just right next to the Islamic world and just right next to Turkey. So people don't really go very long ways. They take their entire culture with them to Germany, for example, and live there with that. And they are indoctrinated that they are just guests here. Their home is only 2 hours away anyway. So they don't really feel the need to integrate and to let go of their weird ideas about the world. But in America, it's across the ocean. People who come here usually come here with the intention to start a new life and to change things. So that's why there's obviously a difference between a Turk or an Arab in America and a Turk or an Arab in Europe. But thank you so much for the question. Ernesto Gomez said, are you ready to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior? Stop it. Would Islam be done if the Kaaba got nuked? Let's not give people ideas. Peter Kiat, thank you for the question. Although it's not a serious one, probably. But I don't believe it would solve the problem. But I believe... Okay, let's not talk about that. I feel very weird talking about that. But thanks for the question. I don't believe it would solve the problem. Neil Gardner said, what is your view about US-UK military interventions in the Middle East and their role in destabilizing the region and promoting Islamic extremism? Good question, Neil Gardner. First off, I don't believe that US and UK military interventions, in general Western interventions, are promoting Islamic extremism in the region. I believe they did so mistakenly in the past when they supported organizations like, the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, for example, which was a very, very bad strategy. I still have no idea what they were thinking, what America was thinking when they supported the Mujahideen in Afghanistan against the Soviet Union. Later, it all backfired. The Mujahideen created a new terrorist organization with resources they got from America and started attacking America, which is insane. But Western organizations, there are some who sell weapons to Islamist extremist organizations because they don't care about humanity, they don't care about politics, they care about money and other things. But I wouldn't accuse the governments of the West and the people of the West of doing anything like that. The US does indeed make interventions in the Middle East, but you have to think about it this way. America is a superpower. Europe is a united superpower. Russia is a superpower. China is a superpower. And we have superpowers growing within the Islamic world and in other regions. If America started a non-interventionist policy and just leaned back and sat down, other people, other nations, other superpowers wouldn't sit down the same way. So it's really a complicated issue that I really don't even want to go very long into. But that also deserves a lot of attention and a lot of talk. But thanks for the question and thanks for the super chat. King Buddy, a super chat, says, if Allah allows the sexual assault of slaves and Muslims are slaves to Allah, then why there be sexual assault in the afterlife? Complicated question. Thanks for the super chat. But yeah, two things about your question is sexual assault of slaves is allowed in Islam. It is really allowed. Many people think it is just an exaggeration made by Islamophobes and critics of Islam, but Islam explicitly allows in its most fundamental sources to take captives of war, to turn them into slaves, and also to take sex slaves among them and to have sex with them, even non-consensually. Thanks for the comment and the super chat, King Buddy. Jay Jagannath said, what is the Islamic perspective about preservation and caring for our nature? There is none. There is only one source, which is not a very big one, about trees, but that's it. There is not really much in Islam about protecting our nature or preserving our nature at all. Thanks for the question, Jay. Wong Li, why is atheism increasing in Turkey under Erdogan's rule? Well, thanks for the question. Interesting question, by the way. The thing is, in Turkey, Turkey is currently going through weird times. I mean, Islamism and extreme Islam fundamentalism is rising in Turkey, but at the same time, secularism and atheism and the interest in other religions and skepticism is also very much on the rise. I remember long ago, almost a decade ago, checking online sources about atheists in Turkey and stuff like that, and I couldn't find anything. But today, when I go online on social media and search for atheists in Turkey, there is a huge presence. So something huge is really happening in Turkey. And we can all thank the Islamist government of Erdogan for that, I believe. Thanks for the question. Bento Fernandez said, how do you style your hair and your beard so perfectly? I don't. It just happens. I have no idea how it's happening. But thanks for the comment. What is the Islamic Oh, I just read that. I'm sorry. That was about preserving nature. Someone said, I'm not just saying someone, the username is someone. What are your thoughts on Darul Harb and Darul Islam? Okay, many people don't know about this. Thanks for the question, by the way. In Islam, there is a thing, although it's not in the fundamental sources of Islam, but there is this concept of Darul Islam and Darul Harb. Darul Islam means basically house of Islam, and Darul Harb means house of war, or home. Darul Islam refers to the Islamic world, so Islam actually has a term for the Islamic world, and Darul Harb refers to regions where Islam is not dominant. I don't want to go very much into it, but in Islam there is a thing. In Islam, there is a system of preserving that Darul Islam, the land of Islam, and enforcing Islamic laws there. And regarding Darul Harb, which is the lands of war where Islam isn't there, Muslims have the obligation to spread Islam, to go there to spread Islam, to invite people to Islam, and also to turn those lands into Islamic lands. That's an actual Islamic thing. It would be a very interesting thing to go into and to make a video about. I don't know why I haven't come to that yet. But interesting question. Thank you so much, someone. I will definitely pick that topic up in the questions in the future at some time. Thanks for all the comments, by the way, guys. Thanks for all the great participation. It's really hard for me to follow the comments right now because there are so many, but I'll try to answer as much as possible. Why is Afghanistan destabilizing? Asked by Mehak Deep Singh. I'm very far from that region. I wouldn't really get much out of talking about that. But thanks for the question. Anti-Islam, a Turkish user said, Apostate Prophet, would you please make videos in Turkish for us? I really understand why people ask me that. And I think it's really necessary to make such things in Turkish, but I just don't feel ready for doing that. I tried to answer that before. I would say, please make that in my place. I mean, why don't people make videos in Turkish about Islam the same way. You could even work together with me. You could totally work together with me. You could do the presentation. You could present these topics. I would totally support that. I would totally endorse that. But I myself don't feel ready to make videos in Turkish. It's also because I have a emotional relation to Turkey that is not very beautiful. But yeah, I'm currently focused on my English and German stuff. This live chat will go on for another 40 minutes, most likely. It's early in the morning. I don't have very much energy. But thanks for all the great participation, guys. Thanks for all the questions. Guys. Guys. Don't you hate it when people refer to you as guys? Guys. Just ignore this part. Hauran Amzar said, why do Turkish Muslims hate the Greek Christians? To be honest, it's a bit exaggerated. They don't really hate Greek that much. Turks hate Armenians much more. But yeah, Turks have a problem with Greeks, and they have this arrogance of making jokes about Greece. But then again, Greeks have the same thing about Turkey. But there was a poll that I saw years ago, which was done by the same organization. The poll was done in Turkey and in Greece, and asked the same question to the Greeks and to the Turks about each other. And far more Turks had a negative opinion about Greeks than Greeks had about Turks. But surprisingly, a big amount of both nations also had a lot of respect and love for each other. I believe there shouldn't be such a big fight. I lived in Turkey. I visited Greece once before, and I really loved Greece, and I really don't understand why there is such a big conflict if we ignore history. Why did Muhammad not marry any other woman while he was married to Khadija? Asked by Jamal Goose. Well, I would say it has some factors. I mean, Muhammad said that he liked Khadija so much that he didn't want to. Was it even a? I don't even know if he said that. But he said later on also always that Khadija was his favorite woman. But the thing is, you have to consider Muhammad was just a regular guy, a regular merchant when he was married to Khadija. That's how he got married to Khadija. He was a poor guy, a businessman who got married to Khadija, who was a very big, a very rich, a very respected businesswoman. So Muhammad wasn't really in the position to have a divorce with Khadija. So it shouldn't be really seen as a virtue that he didn't marry any other woman and was only married to Khadija. He wasn't in the position. Khadija was in a position of power, and Muhammad was just a poor guy who was married to her until he became a prophet. But thanks for the question. Darius Masoom said, what is your opinion about Zoroastrians? The problem is that we don't have many of them around today anymore, and we don't have many sources about Zoroastrians that we could go into and study as easily as we can study religions like Christianity or Islam or Judaism. But as far as we can see, in Zoroastrianism, it was always important to have greater morals than to have repetitive rituals. That makes me think Zoroastrianism it was in that way very great. But Zoroastrianism had a few problematic things, like glorifying the relations, sexual relations among relatives, which is an actual Zoroastrian thing. I don't know to what extent that goes. I would really need to study that further. But other than that, it wasn't a violent religion. It had much more mercy and a disapproval of slavery, for example, compared to Islam, which emerged much later. But yeah, it's an interesting culture, an interesting religion. I wish we could study it much further. Anil Yadav said, Apostate Prophet, are you a medical doctor? Yes. That joke never gets old. I'll come back to that again. I know so many people ask me about picking up Zakir Naik and the medical doctor thing again. I definitely want to come back to that again. Serpico Vendemikon, which character of Game of Thrones would you compare to Muhammad? I don't really follow Game of Thrones. I watched it a little bit, but I don't really know the character names either, but that little guy, that little midget guy, can we talk about him in relation to Muhammad, maybe? No, actually, he's a good guy. Muhammad wasn't a good guy, so... sorry about being not as enlightened as you are about Game of Thrones, but thanks for the question. Magna Carta said AP is only safe because he is anonymous on YouTube. I'm not even that anonymous. I'm just, I have my face here. I mean, and I have my name also on several platforms, so you can easily find my name and my face. I'm really not that anonymous, and I'm not trying to be very anonymous. And to be fair, I'm not really that afraid of being killed by some crazy people who want to defend their beliefs. Yeah, if you try the super chat function, people, I don't want to say guys because it sounds so weird. If you want to try the super chat function, your questions will appear here immediately, and I can look at them right away, which I don't want to use as an opportunity, but that's just much more convenient. Otherwise, I'm trying to answer questions that I see here. It's also getting hard because there are many comments that are not questions. Karabu said, what if we are wrong and Allah is real? Will you beg for his mercy not to enter hell? Nice question, Karabu. It's nice to get into that and to think about that sometimes. I would say that I wouldn't ask for forgiveness. I would say you are an whatever. But you probably don't believe me, right? I wouldn't believe me either. But yeah, I think that would be my position right now. But thanks for the question. It's an interesting thing to think about. But I'm 100% sure that he's not real, so screw him. Super user said, what headphones are you using? Where is it here? Avantry Audition or something like that. They're not great top headphones, but they're working quite well. So, Lucian Maras said, "Do you feel any sort of patriotism towards Turkey?" I don't. I know some people don't understand it, especially Turks don't understand that and find that a bit sad about me, but I don't have any amount of patriotism about Turkey at all. It's 0%. I don't have any good feeling about that at all. But the thing is, I didn't grow up in Turkey. I wasn't born in Turkey and I didn't grow up in Turkey. I was born in Germany, grew up in Germany. I was always fascinated, always in love with German culture, with the way Germans live and Germans view things, German efficiency and stuff like that. And I had to move to Turkey together with my parents when I was at the age of 16 and had to live there for 10 years forcibly while not liking the country and not being able to adapt at all. So, and I don't have any emotional connection to that country. So I don't have any patriotism about that country at all. If you have any patriotism about your country, whatever that country is, great, have it. But I don't have anything for Turkey. I have more patriotism for Germany and for America. Okay, I'm trying to find some more questions that I didn't answer before. Debayan Basu said, why do you hate Muslims? Very important questions. Why do I hate Muslims? Well, I don't. I have always been saying that I'm criticizing Islam. Criticizing Islam is not equal to hating Muslims. I don't have hate for Muslims. Of course, I deal with certain people carefully based on their opinions and based on what they believe in, based on what they believe people should be dealt with. But I don't hate Muslims. I could come together with Muslims, sit down with them, have normal conversations without talking about Islam. I have Muslim friends. I have Muslim relatives. I have a Muslim family, my parents. So I don't hate Muslims at all. I just hate the religion that they believe in. And I tell Muslims all the time that the religion they believe in corrupts them. It would be great if we all stop believing in this religion. You know, if a Muslim stopped believing in Islam, I wouldn't have any problem with anything he believes in at all. So how can you even think that I hate Muslims? Crusader General said that thanks for the super chat, Crusader General. How do you tell a Sunni from a, is that a joke? Okay, enjoy it. I thought it was a question. Fardeen Anwar said, what's your real name? Always known you as the Apostate Prophet. My real name is Ridvan, which is Turkish. I usually use Rico among friends, but that's my real name. There is really no problem with sharing this. You can all know my name. Thank you so much for asking. Calix888 said, are your parents aware of your YouTube channel? It's unbelievable, but they are not. They are not aware yet. They will be aware at some point, but nothing to do about it. They don't know right now. Someone said AP is Mossad. Eddie said AP is Mossad. I agree. Yeah, again, if you want to use the super chat function, I can see your chat here right away, and I can answer your question right away. Other than that, I'm trying to go through questions and try to answer them, but it's getting hard. Akshay Falgunia said, is Wahhabi Islam only a tool of political dominance used by House of Saud to control Saudi Arabia? The thing is that Wahhabism is not restricted to Saudi Arabia anymore, and is not restricted to, and is not in the hands of Saudi Arabia completely anymore. But it's definitely in the hands of Saudi Arabia to some extent, and many Wahhabis have respect for Saudi Arabia because they share ideas about Islamism. But yeah, Saudi Arabia is very much using the alliance with the West and the alliance with other countries to spread their extremist and fundamentalist ideas about Islam, sadly. And we should come together and do something about that. But unfortunately, we have so many political gains from each other that no one cares about the spread of political Islam in the West. By the way, I will have two great guests about that issue very soon. At the end of this month, I will talk to Robert Spencer, who is a very good critic of Islam, who also wrote books about Islam. I will have him here most likely on Tuesday, October 30th, together with me on the live chat, where I will talk with him about his activity Jihad Watch and about how jihad is promoted in different countries. It will be very interesting. And I also plan on doing something with Bill Warner. If you know Bill Warner, he's a very interesting, a very good, a very great doctor who makes stuff about political Islam. I will have something with him too. It won't be live, but it will be great. That was related to the question, but thanks for the question. Calisthenics Wage. I don't even want to mention that guy's name. Sorry for interrupting the whole thing, but just give me a second, people, friends. Okay. The thing is, there was just a user who was leaving me a comment about some guy who was harassing me and bothering me on Instagram, and I just wanted to put him out of this live chat gladly because I don't want to talk about such things. What would happen to Islam if Mecca got nuked? Crusader General, thanks for the super chat, but I don't think it would solve the problem at all. Havarat Amzar said, why are there so many sects in Islam? Which one is the true one? Well, the most dominant one that came from the beginning until now is Sunni Islam, but Sunni Islam is always, religious people in that on that line keep the religion in its original form all the time. Fundamentalist Muslims, fundamentalist Sunni Muslims. The thing is, when you say sects in Islam, Uh, there are usually branches in Islam like Shia Islam, Sunni Islam, and Ibadi Islam that recognize each other, but that also don't recognize each other as true Islam. Those are separate from each other. But aside that, we have also branches within Sunni Islam. For example, there are 4 branches within Sunni Islam, like Shafi, Hanbali, Hanafi, and Maliki. Those don't have any big differences in belief. They have only differences in their practices, but they recognize each other as also true. They just follow different scholars within Islam that also recognize each other. So that's no big separation. There are movements within Islam like Salafism, Wahhabism. There is Ahmadi Islam, which Muslims don't recognize as Islam and see as heretic, and so on. But it's just like many other religions and many other ideologies. At some point they just start splitting and hating each other, or working together. Schwarzschaz said, "What do you think about Indonesia?" Thanks for the question. I don't have many opinions about Indonesia. It's a very far culture to me, very far country to me, but but I have so many viewers from Indonesia too, and thanks guys for being here. Well, Indonesia is an example of a country that is kind of like Turkey to some extent. I think that a big part of the population is secular and tries to uphold more modern, more humane values, while another big part of the population is very religious, very Islamist, and tries to shut down the other side and tries to uphold Islamist reactionary values. So it is kind of like Turkey, a bit worse than Turkey in terms of Islamism. But yeah, many great people from Indonesia, many great people who follow me here and who come here. So thanks so much for the participation. No problem, Howard Amzar. Thank you so much for the question. That boy said, "Do you fear for your life?" I don't. I know it would be so great for me to be dramatic about it now and to say, "Oh, I'm so afraid because I'm criticizing Islam, but they could kill me every day." But I don't think it would happen. And I'm not afraid of that. But thanks for the question. Anthony Pepito in video, thank you so much. Yvonne Babar said, what did your family say when you left Islam? Thanks for the question, Yvonne. I believe that's the way I pronounce it in that's the way I pronounce it. I pronounce it in German. I'm sorry if I pronounce it the wrong way, but what did your family say? What did your family say when you left Islam? They didn't say anything when I left Islam because they don't know that I left Islam. They just know that I became far less religious, and they became very concerned about that at times. But they didn't learn about my apostasy completely yet. I didn't feel the need to tell them that I left Islam and that I don't believe in this religion anymore, because there is nothing for me to save about them. I don't believe in any religion. I don't believe I need to save them and bring them to my paradise or anything like that. It doesn't really matter to me if they are Muslims or not, besides that they do some ridiculous practices that I don't really believe they should be doing. But other than that, I didn't feel the need to tell them. If they find out one day, I don't know what they will say. They will probably be very sad about it, but they won't come and kill me. Would you do a live chat with Christian Prince? I could. Maybe it wouldn't be suitable for my channel, but thanks for the question, Ritesh Pace. It wouldn't be suitable for my channel because, he does it in a different way. He does the desktop showing thing and stuff like that. But and I don't like doing live chats just with myself on. But yeah, it could be possible. I think he's a very knowledgeable person, very accurate, very heavy criticism of Islam. He's doing a great job. Ronald Rash said, "Are you aware of Gadsad's YouTube channel who featured Robert Spencer?" I am. He's a funny uncle. He's a funny man, a very interesting and intelligent man, Gadsad. I didn't have the honor to speak to the Godfather yet, but maybe in future sometime. Thanks for the question. I am not a Christian, Nadir Ahmad. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not a Christian. So many people come and think I'm a Christian just because I criticize Islam. If you criticize Islam, you're either a Christian or a fake Muslim Zionist Jew. I am the latter, not the first one. Okay. Dom999 as said, Doom999 as said, I would consider a live chat with Christian Prince, but I didn't do anything about it right now. If he wants to do that with me, I would be honored to have a talk with him. Let me see. Did Muhammad split the moon? Any witnesses? No. Okay, I'm trying to find questions. Yosrihin said, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Yosrihin. What's your thoughts on the Jamal Khashoggi case? It's very hard to follow. I didn't even follow the latest news. What happened to him? I mean, was it proven that he was sliced up in pieces and died or something like that? As far as I know, I don't even know. I didn't really follow it, to be very honest. At some point, I've been busy with my own stuff, with my own health, with my own work. Yeah. As far as I remember, as far as I know, he only disappeared in the Saudi Arabian consulate, and Turkey said that, or the embassy, and Turkey said that he didn't come out of that anymore, and that some officers, some people know that he was killed inside of there. But I don't know what really to say about that. The thing is that Jamal Khashoggi has also a shady past, which many people don't know. But if you research about his past, he was an advocate of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is against Saudi Arabia politically in many ways. He was on mission for Saudi Arabia in Afghanistan when the Afghanistan Taliban and organizations like that were fighting with their weapons and guns, and he was there with them. So he has a shady past. Saudi Arabia probably killed him in a shady way, but I don't even want to go much into it, because who really knows what is happening behind closed doors? The Truth said, who is your favorite role model? I have none, really. I'm very bad with with admiring people and liking them. I have this very, very short attention span for people, but which doesn't mean anything negative. It's just that I don't follow people very much. Oh, are you kidding me? Armin Navabi, is that you? No, it's not. Come on. That's not the real Armin Navabi. He was not a simple journalist. Yes, Simon James, that's what I mean. He was not a simple journalist. It is, he has some past where he worked for some organizations, and he was close to the Muslim Brotherhood, advocated the Muslim Brotherhood. He wrote for some certain papers. He wrote for them in America, but he also wrote for the Washington Post, where he explicitly advocated the Muslim Brotherhood and alleged that the Western people just misunderstand the Muslim Brotherhood. So it's really not. He was really not that innocent, probably. But I don't want to get much into it, because, as said, we all don't know what's really happening behind closed doors. Armin Navabi. I don't believe it's really Armin Navabi here, because you have 61 subscribers. But if it's really you, please send me a message on Twitter immediately. Would be great, because, we communicate on Twitter. My views on veganism, asked by Electrical. Thank you so much, Electrical. if people choose to be vegans, they can do whatever they want. You know, they can live that way. I wouldn't live that way. I wouldn't live as a vegan. And if people, if radical veganists, extremists, just kidding, want to hate me for that, they can hate me for that too. But who cares? Warrior Linda Clark, what do you think Keith Ellison's goal is? Keith Ellison, I don't know what happened recently to him. Did his abuse and divorce things come out? I don't know. Apparently it came up, but nothing happened. I don't know. Also, I don't want to comment very much about him anyway. He's just getting attention. He has shady relations again. By the way, friends, if you have seen that yesterday this a case about Louis Farrakhan came out very much. Louis Farrakhan is the head of the Nation of Islam in America, and he has very shady ties. Not shady ties. I'm just saying shady ties right now because I said shady ties about several other things several times in his live chat. He doesn't have any shady ties. He has very open ties to disgusting people. He called Jews insects. He threatened them with hellfire many times. He justified the Holocaust and so many things. And I believe, as of today, he's still on Twitter. Oh, it is Armin Navabi. Armin just Armin just texted me on the live chat on Twitter, so it was indeed him. Okay, yeah, you probably you don't use that channel to advertise stuff. That's why. Okay, makes sense. Sorry, Armin, for dismissing you as a fake Armin Navabi. What was the question? Yeah, okay, it was actually him. I'm sorry for calling you fake, Armin Navabi. Why do Muslims hate pigs? I will come to Armin Navabi very soon again when I see the question. Asked by that boy, why do Muslims hate pigs? Well, it has to do with the Jewish past of with Judaism, which Muhammad based his religion on, or claimed to base his religion on. But that's pretty much everything that's to it, I believe. I mean, Muhammad didn't really have much opinion about pigs, but what can you really have? What can you really think about pigs when you are in Arabia in the desert? Okay, I remember Armin Navabi's question was, is there anything good about Islam? Oh, okay. I see why Armin Navabi would ask me that question. Armin Navabi is here, guys, everyone. He asked, "What is there anything good about Islam?" Just a second. I would say there are good things about Islam. It's not all bad. I grew up in a very religious Muslim family, although not in a fundamentalist family, but in a Sufi family, but still very much religious, very much fundamentalist to extents. So I would say there are definitely good things about Islam, not only bad things. There are good things about Nazism too, which doesn't make Nazism a great idea. But about Islam, there are some good things about how to treat each other, for example, in very normal relationships. There are bad things about that too, but there are good things about respecting each other, about being kind to each other, about being good to your neighbor, about not making fun of other people's religions, for example. Although you can kill them and insult them and so on, but you can't make fun of them. Great. But it has some good things. It has some good things about regular human behavior in your everyday life. And I believe, because I grew up in a religious Muslim family, I also received good qualities about my behavior from my Muslim parents. So I can't just reject every good thing about Islam. I totally appreciate that. And yeah, those are the good things about Islam, I would say. That you should be humble is one good thing. That you should respect people is one good thing. You should be good to your neighbors is a good thing. You should you shouldn't be rude and shouldn't be arrogant is a good thing. But then again, there are so many horrible things that just, you know, that just leave those things completely in the shadows, like killing people, Islamic supremacism, and so on. But thank you so much, Armin, for coming here and for confronting me with this tough question. Many people are having more conversations with each other than asking me something, which is nice to see, but it's confusing me. Karthik Vasudevan, what about a live chat with Asadullah Ali? I don't want to talk about him, to be very honest, because I tried to contact him before. I don't want to talk about what really happened after that too, because um, he's usually a respectful guy in a one-on-one conversation. But that's why I also tried to have a normal conversation with him, and I thought it would be nice to come together as a fundamentalist Muslim and a fierce ex-Muslim and have a talk together about our differences. He refused that, so we decided not to do that. But other than that, I wouldn't like to share my criticism or anything on him. I'll just let him do for whatever he does. I'll just let him do whatever he does. Thank you so much, Armin Navabi. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very, very much. For those who don't know Armin Navabi, although if you know me, you probably know him too. He has the Atheist Republic. He's founder and president, right, of the Atheist Republic, and does many activities about ex-Muslims, Islam, and also other religions, and generally social issues. Great work. Thank you so much, Armin Navabi, for everything that you do and for being here and for your support. Broken Mystico said, what is it with the Muslim obsession with left and right? Left being bad and right being good. I want to make a video about that soon. I have some humorous ideas about that. It's not only restricted to if something is on the right, it's good. If something is on the left, it's bad. It's also about using your right hands and your left hands and stuff like that. It's very ridiculous. But in order to make people more understand what we are talking about, I would love to make a video about that and to demonstrate some things that are basic restrictions in Islam, like eating with your right hand, or like eating with your left hand, or entering the toilet with this foot and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. I believe it comes down very much to Muhammad's personality, to Muhammad's mental issues, maybe. But I really don't see why a religion would give you advices and restrictions on which hand and which feet to use in specific cases. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'll come to that. It will be hilarious. Are you gay? I'm not gay. I know I said earlier before the live chat that jokingly that on the question why I'm wearing an earring, that it's because Apostate Prophet is gay, but that's not true. My wife is here. She's a moderator in our live chat. Gedalia said, are you going to make a video on Mary the Cook? Thanks for being here again, Gedalia. Thanks for always being here. I will. The story about Mary the Cook, no need to summarize it right now. Some people know it, but I will definitely do that, yes. There are so many things, still so many topics that I need to cover about Islam. So much work to do, and I don't know, we'll have years of work to do about Islam. And I will always have something to talk about regarding this. And we will hear and we'll take this religion apart as strongly as we can. Roland Brake said, are Turkish people generally religious? Thanks for the question. Turkish people are generally not that religious. There are just some among them, like specific populations among Turks that choose to be very much religious, that choose to be fundamentalists, radicals, Sufis. But mostly Turkish people are not very religious. Most people don't really value it that much, although 99%, or not 99%, that's a state statistic, but more than 90% of Turks are Muslims. Many of them take their religion seriously as an identity to wear, but most of them But most of them are not really great followers of the Islamic religion and don't really understand Islam very much. Thank you so much, Gedalia. I appreciate it. Grey Jedi. I should wear a crown on my next video. Why? I'll wear a mug on my next video on my head. And try to balance it and try to answer your questions too at the same time. And jump around with it. Let's say thank you so much to my wife too, Jenna Nicole. She's here in the live chat, trying to regulate everything, trying to direct questions at me, trying to communicate with people who ask specific questions. Thank you so much for being here. No need to get emotional now. Do you get into history? Evil Good One said, do you get into history? Can you make a video on the Hashashin? It would be very interesting. I want to. The thing is, currently I'm trying to make videos like twice a week. And while doing that, it's getting it's very hard to actually make historical things, to include history into my videos very much. When I do that, I usually do that about things like the persecution of Jews or slavery in Islam. But other than that, I'm really interested in making stuff about history. I just can't very easily get into that. But yeah, I will in the future, definitely. Xenomorph said, do you think that Christians are correct in their teachings, since they preach about love and respect everyone, but excluding LGBT from the word everyone? I don't think, the thing is, when I talk about Christianity and when I talk about Christians, I don't see that as a religious group that either needs to be completely wrong or completely right. I view it the way I view many other ideas and ideologies or thoughts or just simply chosen personalities, chosen and adopted personalities. That's how I would view Islam. And that's why I view it very bad in the Islamic way. That's how I would view Christianity too. The thing is that if you compare Christianity and Islam, for example, Islam's major message is not love and forgiveness and repentance. Christianity's major message is love, forgiveness, and repentance, which is why I would have sympathy for Christianity, because it feels nice. It feels good, I could say the same thing about Hinduism, for example. Hinduism doesn't have a very clear and certain doctrine that everyone needs to follow, but sorry, I just saw a comment. But yeah, I would say Christians are very good about many things like forgiveness and love and respect, even for people who are different. Of course, they have flaws about things that I don't agree with at all. But I would still not put them on the same level as I put Islam. I would put no one on the same level as I put Islam, except if we talk about a very crazy cult. But yeah, that's how I respect religious people. The live chat won't last very long. I'm actually about to finish. I want to go for another 5 minutes and try to very quickly answer videos in a very fast way. And then we will be done. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Thanks for all the great questions. Abhishek Kumar said, why do feminists support Islam even if Islam is so anti-women? Because feminists just view it as a minority. They don't really understand Islam. They can't really separate the idea of Islam from Muslims. When you talk about Islam, they just view it as this big bubble of Muslims, which to them means minority, which they need to protect. It's incredibly stupid and irrational and absolutely moronic. But yeah, that's how it goes. What is your opinion on paintings? Is creativity of a human very sacred? Of course it is, yeah. Maisha Anuva. And it's sad that Islam bans such things. Bans painting people and making portraits. That's why Islam is, again, additionally horrible. Would you interview Sandra Solomon? Sandra Solomon? Oh, okay. I believe I saw that person once before. I could, why not? I don't have any plans though. Thanks for the question. What do I think of Muslim feminists like Mona Al-Tahawi? I don't know Mona Al-Tahawi. I saw some Muslim feminists before. Let's not even get into it. Do I ever think Islam will have a reformation? Michael Lee, I made a video about that very recently called Can Islam be Reformed? I would suggest watching that. I don't think it will ever be reformed, but thanks for the question. Is there any point in trying to reform Islam? Would go again in the same direction, but thanks for the question, Kuritsu. I made a video about that very recently. I don't think there's any point in reforming Islam because I don't think it's possible, and I think it would even create many more problems in the future. Hans Truppen said, AP, did you notice that Western people accept you more as one of their own when you say that you are an ex-Muslim? I can't blame them. You know, some people would use that as a hypocritical thing, but I can't blame them. You know, Western people usually, most of them don't have a problem with anyone. The people that have a problem with some people, with some specific people and groups, are a tiny minority that no one should care about, but that we all talk about on the media every damn time. Those people that have a problem individually with other people that come from different cultures and religions have a right to do so because everyone wants to protect themselves and their family and their culture. When I say that I am not a Muslim, that I don't believe in Islam, that I don't believe in the extreme ideas that come with Islam, and people view me favorably because of that, I can totally understand that and appreciate that. I would think the same way. I'm very sorry. I say I don't hate Muslims. But if someone comes to me and I have my opinions, my thoughts about Islam and the world, and someone comes and tells me that he is a Muslim and a fundamentalist Muslim, I would be careful about this person. If he comes to me and says, I left Islam, I'm an ex-Muslim, an atheist, or a Christian, or whatever, I would embrace that person and want to hug that person. That's a very natural reaction. So yeah, I know, and I can't blame them. Harsh Todwell, my views on Hinduism. I believe Hinduism is a nice concept. You know just as well as I do that there is no certain doctrine, which is why it's very hard for me to make a comment about it. But I think the general motivation in Hinduism is the good for everyone else and especially for nature, which is kind of a beautiful thing to have. Other than that, I would love to include this in a video, in which I would compare Hinduism to Islam. That would be very interesting. Let us see. Sumpeno Noboto said, I heard that some hadith are not reliable here in Indonesia, but David Wood and you claim it reliable. Do you have any explanation to that? There are some hadith. Well, there is hadith terminology. I should actually get into that and make a video about that soon and explain how hadith terminology works. But there are hadith that are marked as sahih, which means authentic, and hadith that are marked as Hasan, which means good. Then there are also hadith that are marked as da'if, which means weak. So some hadith are obviously not authentic because they are marked as weak, because they have been studied by scholars already. But other hadiths, especially those marked as sahih, especially if they appear in the first priority Sahih books like Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari, those are most likely completely authentic. If they are Hasan, which means good, they are also authentic. This is very complicated. But mostly if I use a hadith, I use it when it's authentic. And I give you the source so you can always check if it's authentic and if I tell you the truth or not. But I can definitely make a video about that to tell people more about how these things actually work. What is my opinion of Imam Tawhidi? It's usually favorable. I'll have a live chat with Imam Tawhidi sometime. I don't know when yet, but we'll arrange it within a few months. Do I think it would be a good idea to ban circumcision, both male and female? I don't think we need to ban it completely, but I think it would be an interesting thing if people who have been non-consensually circumcised would have later on a right to make a claim about that. Jean-Baptiste, do I have any plans to broadcast in Turkish? Not really, no. I could create a separate thing for that, a Turkish live chat thing. I just get that idea now, but but no, I don't have the plan right now. Maybe in the future. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for all the participation. Thank you, friends, for all the questions, for all the comments. I appreciate your participation so much. We are at the end again of another live chat, of another live stream. I want to do this more, not only once a month. But I will announce that further. I'm trying to get more and more into doing different things on this channel. I'm also trying to make my German channel active now. But I will try to have more and more live chats so that we can more and more communicate. And thanks everyone again for the great participation. Das Hippo, thank you so much. Greetings back to Baden-Württemberg, which is, by the way, my home, mein Zuhause in Germany. All right, thank you so much, guys. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you for all the questions. Thanks, Bish. Thanks, Harry Sultan. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the week. I will make a video tomorrow. I will publish it most likely tomorrow at the normal time, which is around 12 morning to noon here in America. Should be something interesting about my opinion on whether Islam belongs here or not, or it will be again about a scientific issue, a ridiculous one in Islam. And I'll see you there. Thank you so much for the participation. Thanks, Armin. Thank you to my wife, Jenna Nicole, for being here and for trying to moderate the chat and helping people with the questions and helping me. Yeah, and before I forget it, stay away from Islam. Thanks, and bye.